Hi guys, I'm Caitlin from Leave Me Alone Plants, and today I'm going to be giving you a full care guide for these beautiful Cissus Discolor plants. Now, our first disclaimer of this video is going to be on pronunciation. Now, I think that's how you say the name of these, but I've seen multiple different pronunciations on the internet, from Kisses to Cissus to Cissus, so if you know for sure, please drop it down in the comments below. I'll be the first person to say I probably butchered 99% of the plant names that I own plants for, so listen girl, if you're coming here for pronunciation, this is not the channel for you. Keep moving. Getting into things that I do actually know how to talk about, we're going to be discussing the care that you need to take to keep these guys looking beautiful. Now, if you start looking around, or maybe this is the name that you were introduced to this plant with, you might hear it be called the Rex begonia vine. And the reason for that, as you can see with these leaves, are that they really do resemble a beautiful Rex begonia plant. They have all these awesome different colorations, but interestingly enough, this plant isn't actually even part of the Rex begonia family or a begonia at all. It's actually part of the grapevine family, which, you know, looking at it and it being a vining plant, now that you hear that, or once I heard that, it became like super obvious and it made sense, but not part of the begonia family. I think when you first get a plant, and sometimes you just see it in the store and it calls your name and you say, oh, I have to have that plant, you don't always initially think about what type of lighting that you need this plant to require. This guy tends to be pretty easy for me, so it's gonna need just a moderate light. Nothing too bright, nothing too dark. Now, if you do give this guy too much sun, these leaves are not gonna like it. They're gonna get sunburned, they're gonna crisp up on you. And on the flip side of that, if you're not giving them enough light, as you can see, or maybe you can, maybe you can't, these leaves have this beautiful silvery coating on them. And if you're not giving this guy enough light, it's actually going to start to lose that beautiful silver variegation. So I recommend that if you're seeing that, try bumping up the light before doing anything else. These plants do like to have a moister soil, but when I say that, I don't mean that they like to be sitting in a swamp. Don't do that. Trust me, your plant will rot. So my rule of thumb is, as soon as I start to feel this soil dry up a little bit, that's when I go in and water it. Now, with that said, when I first started getting into plants and I would hear something like the moist soil, I would think to myself, oh, well, perfect. I'll just put it in a plastic pot with no drainage hole and, you know, it'll solve itself. Learn from my mistakes. Don't do that. Absolutely give it something that has a drainage hole, or, you know, if you have it in a cover pot like this, make sure the pot inside is well draining. And I always, you know, almost in every scenario, I'm going to recommend a well-draining soil. It's just going to help you avoid those root rot issues and keep your plant happy and healthy. Now, these plants are natively found in Java and Cambodia, so with that in mind, you know, they're native to a warmer, more humid climate. So when you're finding somewhere to keep this plant, you're going to want to keep those things in mind. They're really not going to want to drop below temperatures of, you know, even like 60 degrees, but definitely I wouldn't recommend going into the 50s or 40s at all. It's gonna be way too cold for this guy. You know, they really prefer more that 70 to 80 threshold. Also, in terms of humidity, these guys are humidity lovers. So, you know, if you can keep it near a humidifier, that's great. Misting is another great option as well. Do just be careful not to let too much water sit on the leaves, as it can cause some rotting in them. But for the most part, as long as you can provide this guy with some humidity, he'll be happy and healthy. Now let's move on to everybody's favorite topic, propagation. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not like the world's greatest propagator, but from what I've read, you know, and this is kind of the same thing I've had my experience with these plants, is you'll see these beautiful long red vines, and these vines can actually grow up to 5 feet long. But if you're trying to get a propagation of this, you're not going to want to cut on this red, you know, this new red thin growth. Instead, and I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see this, you're going to want to more so go into this this woody growth on the inner part. That's, you know, it's going to be more of a tan, thicker piece of the plant. That's where you're going to want to go in and take your cutting from. It'll make the cutting healthier, happier, and definitely take a lot better than if you're just going for one of these super stringy new pieces right here. Now, as you can see, I do have this guy staked up. You know, they are climbing plants. You can train them, so you can really put them into any shape you want, be it a hoop, be it a trellis. You know, you can have them hang even, so you really have a lot of variation that you can do with these guys. and you know, make them your own for the space that you have them in. Like most plants, if you start to notice that this plant is getting leggy and it's, you know, just mostly vines, it's not as many leaves as you were hoping for, you can always pinch it back. That will promote new growth, so your plant leaves up and gets a lot more bushy than it does viney. So those are all my tips for taking care of these beautiful Cissus Discolor plants. If you have any questions that I didn't answer in this video, drop them in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.